Enthusiasm comes out in your tone when you don't even know it. And I want you to think back of maybe some gossip, right? Like some real good gossip that you found out, and then there's someone that you really wanted to tell. I want you to pay attention to the tonality of your voice when you finally found that person, or when you finally saw that person. Like, oh man, check this out. Oh, hey, did you hear about, right? There's a lot of enthusiasm behind it. But if it's just normal communication, like, hey, what are you gonna do tomorrow, right? There's no enthusiasm there. But if you can at least identify what enthusiasm is or what it sounds like, and you can control your switch on and off with enthusiasm, you're going to be able to control the other person who you're communicating with. Good morning. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Monday morning. In this week's worth of live streams that I'm going to be shooting for the audience that catches me around this time in the morning. So mark your calendars. Don't forget to check IG. And if you see me on your live storyline, click it, because I'm going to be dropping some sales tips and sales knowledge that applies to anyone in sales. And so it's going to be switched up a little bit. You know, a lot of the lingo and the techniques that I share is based around mortgage, but now I'm going to be sharing, at least in this week, is general information that's going to help just any salesman. I'm talking about in sales, and you don't even need to work in sales, man. Like, this is just your basic form of communication. And you know, I consume a lot of content from audiobooks as well as books, most particular audiobooks, because I don't know, maybe it's ADD. I can't necessarily sit there and read. I get anxious and I can't remember everything I read. So I do a lot of audiobooks because I can multitask. And one thing that really stuck out from this one audiobook from Napoleon Hill was just his basic explanation of enthusiasm. And I think that his lesson was that if you can control your enthusiasm, meaning if you could turn it on and turn it off at will, you will be a master closer. You will be a master salesman. And so I thought about that because, you know, his principle is that everything around us is sold, right? So everything you see around you was sold. And so sales is not only the highest paid profession, but it is the root of everything. It's the root of every service. It's the root of every, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have gotten this hat, even though I created it, if a sale didn't necessarily happen. Like I wasn't necessarily bought into the hat. I wasn't bought into the logo. You know, things that you see, the car that you're in, that was sold to you. And go even deeper than that, the parts to put the car together was sold to the manufacturer. Does that make sense? So everything starts from the sale. And so the lesson in this particular live stream is going to be all based around enthusiasm, why enthusiasm is important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, for an example, a newer salesman, like someone who's brand new. Let's say you just got licensed. Shit, this could be you. Like, you are brand new to sales, right? And you come into the sport, in this game, with a ton of enthusiasm because you see the upside. Maybe your friend was doing it for a while and you see their income, or maybe you got sold by your manager or the person recruiting you, because in that sales position, people were making money, right? And so naturally you're sold, because one of the main reasons why we even go to work is to create income. And why we need the income is because it allows us to live. It allows us to operate, to remain comfortable, to be accountable, to make our rent, our mortgage, whatever it is, right? And so there's that deeper reason, there's that deeper why. But as we go into the sales cycle or the sales floor as someone who's fairly new, and maybe you just got your license, or maybe you're just starting, there's going to be a ton of enthusiasm. And so in that example, the brand newbie, even though they have mass potential, because they cannot necessarily control their enthusiasm and turn it on and off at will, they're going to push people away. And so Napoleon Hill's lesson on enthusiasm, if you can master the actual art and control of enthusiasm, you're going to be you're going to be a great, strong closer, but you're also going to be an effective communicator. And here's why. Enthusiasm comes out in your tone when you don't even know it. And I want you to think back of maybe some gossip, right? Like some real good gossip that you found out, and then there's someone that you really wanted to tell. I want you to pay attention to the tonality of your voice when you finally found that person, or when you finally saw that person. Like, oh man, check this out. Oh, hey, did you hear about, right? There's a lot of enthusiasm behind it. But if it's just normal communication, like, hey, what are you going to do tomorrow, right? There's no enthusiasm there. But if you can at least identify what enthusiasm is or what it sounds like, and you can control your switch on and off with enthusiasm, you're going to be able to control the other person who you're communicating with. Meaning, you need enthusiasm to convey the message of, oh, watch, look, like, oh, watch, let me show you this, or, oh man, check this out, right? Like there's a certain rhythm within your voice, within the sounds that you emit from your mouth, that attracts that person to you, right? And so the reason why most new salesmen have a hard time with just killing it, if you think about it, and you're brand new in sales, you don't necessarily have a pipeline to manage, right? You don't necessarily have a client, like if you're in a different sales where it's just people walking by you, maybe you're that person at the mall who's just handing out samples. You have to master your enthusiasm, because if you can't control your enthusiasm, then your prospect is either going to be bored or is going to think you're weird. Meaning, if they're bored, it's because you're monotone. There's no energy. There's no fluctuation within your voice. And if you're too enthusiastic, then people are going to put their guard up. Like, why is this dude so happy? And so it's a fine balance and a fine line between being, hey, blah, 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 right? Like you're too much, like a door-to-door salesman. And so the reason why I want to bring this up is because not only in sales, but just in basic form of communication, I want you to play with that today. So have fun with it today. I want you to study your enthusiasm. I want you to record yourself as you're going through your own sales process, like your sales conversation. Really record yourself so you can hear yourself. You don't necessarily need to hold a recorder in your hand, you know what I mean? Like, just put the recorder on and put it in your pocket, or put it somewhere close to you, or maybe have some AirPods on so it's recording you, but it looks like you're just wearing them. And you want to listen to the fluctuation of your voice, because if you're having a hard time with converting people you engage with, oftentimes it's not the product, it's not the price, but it's the enthusiasm, because enthusiasm is your link to the prospect in order to transfer an emotion. And when you're able to control the prospect's emotion, you can control things like urgency, you can control things like curiosity, you can control their excitement, right? But oftentimes we don't realize we can also control their resistance. We can control their ideas of objections, like what they're concerned about. And we can literally manufacture the engagement in a way where it's just flawless. I'm talking about from hello to congratulations, right? Like, all within a very short amount of time. But we have to be aware, and oftentimes we're not aware because we're thinking 2-3 steps ahead already, where we're thinking about objections, or we get nervous and we fumble on our words. And so it does take layers and layers of actually studying your craft. But today, in today's live stream, in order to get the general concept of being a top-rated salesman or top-paid salesman, you have to understand the power of enthusiasm and how to control it and direct it. Because if you can't nail down your enthusiasm to where you know how to turn it off and turn it on, then there's not going to be a fine balance. And there's a point in time where it's kind of like when you're going in for the first kiss, right? Like if you're dating somebody, you don't necessarily just go in for the first kiss right away. There's timing to that. There's caressing, there's finessing. And so you can't just naturally, go in at the wrong time. You're going to get turned down and then the whole sale's gone, right? Oh, you lost that sale, boo-boo. So you have to be methodical. You have to be you have to be very aware of the conversation and where the emotional peaks are, where the interests are, where the pain points are, and then know when to pick up your enthusiasm. When to turn it on and when to turn it off. Because again, if you just did this simple hack today, and I challenge you to do this today, pay attention to how you're enthusiastic, when you're enthusiastic, what you sound like when you're enthusiastic, and then pay minds to the response and reaction you get from those you are being enthusiastic with. I promise you, when you start realizing how you can control this, it's mind-blowing. You feel like a fucking Jedi. But all you got to do is put practice into it. And I know it's going to feel weird because you're recording yourself. You feel like a nerd or something. Like, oh, that's creepy. Why am I recording myself? Man, you're recording yourself to be a better you. And if you're interested in improving your skills so that you can maximize the profit and potential of every single day that you have to do what you're going to do anyway, then you might as well take the first step, record yourself, study enthusiasm, and really pinpoint how you can control your enthusiasm and transferring of an emotion, your energy, your tonality, the fluctuation of your voice, the rhythm of it, and how you actually sound in doing it. Master that, and I promise you'll pick up some extra sales. Not only that, but it's fun as fuck. So try that out. Hope you guys enjoy this live stream. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.